Hello again, viewers, and greetings, fellow space travelers. This is Thorn of Night, and welcome to episode 36 of my bee breeding guide. In this episode, we're going to be paying a visit to the Industrious line to examine the SACCHARINE Branch. The SACCHARINE Branch adds 4 different bees to the mix. They are the SWEETENED, the SUGARY, the RIPENING, and the FRUITY. Now, these bees are added by the Extra Bees mod. They have a short life. They don't work all that quickly, but they do pollinate quickly. So any trees or flowers or whatever that you have nearby, they will get the most benefit out of having these bees nearby. I believe there's one type of bee that can pollinate more quickly, but I think it's also near this line anyway. The flowers that they need are not flowers, but are in fact reeds. And specifically, the fruity bee has an effect called ripening. And what that does is any trees that bear fruit that are nearby, it acts as if it is bone mealing those trees for getting the fruit more quickly. Now, aside from the honeycomb that you're going to get from them, which is just typical beeswax and honey drop, they also put out 2 more things. The sugar and the ripening and the fruity bee put out this comb called the fruity comb. The fruity comb will put out the honey drops, but also it puts out this stuff called juicy drops. And yes, that sounds like some sort of candy, and it probably would taste delicious. But what you can use these juicy drops for is making fruit juice, which has a few uses, including being turned into biomass, which can also be turned into ethanol. So it can be used as a fuel source, among other things. So that's the product that you're going to be looking for in this line of bees. So let's go take a look at the branch and see what's involved. Now, this world, if you are interested in getting a more hands-on investigation at it, or you just want to practice the breeding yourself, will be available as a download through a link in the description below. I will warn you that I am using the Unleashed mod pack as part of Feed the Beast. So you will need to get Feed the Beast installed before you can use this mod pack. But the first bee that we are going to be examining here is called the Sweetened bee. And it will use the Valiant bee as one of its components, which you can get in random hives in different locations. Basically, they are just extra bees that you'll find in just normal hives. The other bee you're going to need is called the Diligent bee, and that's from the Industrious line. If you do not know how to make the Diligent bee, you can either watch my Industrious video, or if you have downloaded this map, you can hop over and take a look at the Industrious branch and see what the setup is over there. But let's go ahead and look at this Sweetened bee, and that's a Diligent. There's the Sweetened. And I'm going to go ahead and grab this princess just because I want to see how long it took me to create this bee. Whoops, I skipped it. 5 generations, not too bad, but not instant gratification. Now, let's see how far off, also just for morbid curiosity, how far off the bee is from a purebred. Wow, I managed to get a purebred bee. That's kind of rare. Alright, so I will put these in here, so if you wish to examine them further, you can. Also, there is some stock in here for you to try to breed them yourself, so you can get a better understanding of the breeding situation. But let's take a look at what you can get typically from the output of a purebred sweetened queen. First off, you're going to be able to get, looks like 2 drones and a chance at that sugar there. Some honeycomb. There's 2 more drones there and there. It looks like, I guess about 3/4 of the time-ish, you're going to expect to be able to get some sort of output, whether it's comb or sugar. But the regular comb will give you the beeswax and the honey drop as per usual. And as you can see also, it does require having the reeds nearby as their flowers. I have a pool of water underneath the apiaries here, so I didn't have to take up space in the middle, and that's how the reeds are staying there. It isn't. I haven't sheeted in reeds. They're actually parked right next to some water under the ground there. But let's move on to the next one called the sugary bee. Oh, I guess I should also mention, you may have noticed I have numbers next to these bees. What they represent is how far away from a tier 1 bee, a hive bee. Most of the bees that you're going to find in tier 1 are from hives. There's one that you can get from dungeon chests, and there's one that you can get from villagers, but I basically call them hive bees. So a hive bee is at level 1, and so after 4 steps away from a hive bee, you're going to be able to get a diligent. So 5 steps away from that is the sweetened. Moving on to 6 steps away is the sugary, and it requires, first off, the diligent bee that you used over there, and the sweetened bee, which you got from breeding over there, and I have some stock for you to work with if you wish. But let's go ahead, and that's the sweetened. We're here for the sugary. So I'll need to grab this for the queen, or for the princess for the generation check. 3 generations, not bad. Let's go ahead and identify that and see how far away it is. So it's not too terribly close to a purebred. Got some additional comb, but that's alright. I will put these in here for you to take a look at, and let's examine the output from the queens of the sugary bee variety. First off, you can also expect to get 2 drones out of this, and it looks like up to 4 items for their product in a normal queen cycle. Still the sugar and the honeycomb there, and another example of a stack of honeycomb being run through the centrifuge. Next up is the ripening bee. The ripening bee will use these sugary bees, but this time it will need a forest bee for the other one, which you can get from the hives. And here's some stock once again for you to work with. Now let's see here. That will tell me how long it took, and there's the ripening bee. Alright. So let's see here. 1 generation, pretty quick. And let's look how far away it is from a purebred. Not too terribly close, but that shouldn't, those amount of differences shouldn't take too terribly long to breed out so you can get a purebred. Alright, so I'll put these in here for you to look at if you so choose. And let's take a look at the output. Once again, 2 drones are what you can expect here, and the honeycomb and the sugar. But one of these, I hope, it doesn't have it in it. I was looking for the other comb, the fruity comb, but it doesn't have any. So let's see here. 2 things for output. 2, 2, 2, and 1. So it looks like about 2, probably even chance for more for the typical output from these. And once again, this will give you the fruity comb, which when run through centrifuge will give you a stack of these juicy drops, and almost a stack, at least 2/3 of a stack of the honey drops there. So let's move on to the last bee here, a level 8 bee, the fruity bee. And as you can see, I have some sugar cane back behind there because of the necessity for having sugar cane, and also wheat for the second bee that's needed. First one here is the ripening, which you got from over there, but the second one is the rural bee from the agrarian branch. And if you don't know how to make that, I have the agrarian video that you could watch, or if you've downloaded this, you can just hop through here and take a look. But let's take a look at this. I will need the princess. And let's see how far from start that was. Just one generation. All right. And it's not too bad. It wouldn't take too terribly long to make that a purebred. What about the output here? Not too bad either. All right. So let's put this in here so you can look at that and look at the output here. Once again, you're going to be expecting about 2 drones from that, and about, looks like 2, maybe if you're lucky, 3 items output from the product. And it does produce this fruity comb, which once again you'll be able to get a stack out of a stack of that, and almost a stack of the honey drop out of a stack of the fruity comb. Now, either one or maybe more of the bees in this branch are used in the agricultural branch, so this isn't the end of the line, so you're going to need to go through this to get to that anyway. But that's pretty much all there is otherwise about this branch. So thank you very much for watching. I hope I have answered any questions you may have and helped you figure out what your plans are going to be for breeding in this branch. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, do feel free to leave a message in the comment section below. I'll do my best to get back to you. If you like this video, please give it a like. I appreciate it. It feels good to know that you guys are benefiting from my efforts here. And also, if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe so you know when my next stuff comes out. But this is where I'm going to have to go ahead and wrap up. So thank you once again for watching. This is Thorn of Night, and I will talk to you later.